Good Good morning. Boy, oh boy. Who caught this? Talked about this on the live stream yesterday. Holy shit. Wow. This is once in I don't want to say once in a lifetime because we've seen it before, but this is serious stuff. Who caught SIVB? Boy, oh boy. That's looking like zero to me. Holy crap. Damn. I have a friend that took this play after the live stream yesterday. We've been talking all morning. He's going crazy. So happy for him. $40. Dip by hell no, Marcel. No. This stock is in trouble. Damn. Well, that's insane. Congratulations if you caught that yesterday, guys. How's everyone doing this morning? Welcome back. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to another day. Today should be a pretty interesting day, I would assume. A lot of stuff going on with these financials. XLF, 4% to the downside yesterday. JP Morgan down almost 6%. These crypto-associated banks are causing some real concern. SIVB, SBNY. There's this, obviously SI was the one that started it all. Crazy stuff. All right. So I don't know the whole story behind all these names, to be quite honest. So I'm not going to pretend like I know everything, but I know a decent amount, a good portion of it, at least some names that are falling have to do with using cryptocurrency as collateral. I believe that is my best understanding right now. I'm sure some of you may know this better. It's not like the main banks. It's not like the JP Morgans of the world, but some of these smaller banks that took on some riskier positions. It's looking pretty weird, looking pretty ugly. So we'll see what happens. I'm not gonna focus too much on that today because I'm gonna stick to what I know. Right, stick to what I know is my technical levels. That's my strategy. So I'm not going to start deviating from that because of all these moves on the banks. Going to stick to the strategy, but I did want to just let you know what's going on here. Yeah, JP Morgan did get smacked. All right, so good morning. Welcome back. Hope everyone's having a good morning. Hope everyone had a good trading day yesterday. If you did, congratulations. Let's start looking at some stuff today. We got a lot of levels to readjust today. We got a lot of things to look at, a lot of setups, it should be hopefully some action today to take advantage of. So let's get started. Today, economic earnings calendar. We do have some major economic news this morning. I'll go ahead and pull that up. We have some employment data. So economic calendar here. Let's go ahead and pull that up real quick. That is something to definitely pay attention to. So here we go. So today, Friday, March 10th. Happy Friday. Employment report, 8:30. So at 8:30, we have the employment report. We also have the U.S. unemployment rate. We have average hourly earnings. And we have the average hourly earnings year over year. Just type in SMA on the TOS, Fish Gut. All you have to do is type in SMA, or simple moving average. If you want the daily, you type in daily SMA. It's right in the studies. So we have some pretty big economic data here. We'll have to see the reaction at 8:30. Once we get that reaction, we will sort of adjust to that, move, sort of reassess at 8:30. But we'll go ahead and start looking at it here right now. But big economic data there this morning at 8:30. Let's pay attention to that. All right. Bank trouble. We're going to look at the XLF. We're going to look at JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. There is definitely some pressure on the banks after yesterday's move. XLF does not typically drop 4%. The XLF went vertically down yesterday. This is absolutely something to be watching today. Apple 151 supply, Tesla 165. This is a target that I'm looking for today. A TSM bear flag. This looks like an A+ setup in my opinion. Definitely going to be watching this today. AMD 83, big level on AMD today. NVIDIA 232 is a very similar level as AMD's 83. Some big levels there on semiconductors. And finally, Amazon and Google, some really nice retest potentials here that I'm looking for today. One thing that I will start to point out, if the semiconductors lose strength, this could be what causes the downside on the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is, I believe, being held up primarily by semiconductor stocks. AMD, NVIDIA have been holding up crazy, crazy well. They've been very strong versus the market. If we start to see some cracks on the semis, I would start to look for some weakness to step in. That's my opinion right now. That NASDAQ is being held up primarily by those semiconductor stocks. They've been a beast. But if that starts to break, right, if they start to lose it, this could be what causes majority of the downside. So keep an eye on these semis. Keep an eye on these semis. There's something that I would pay attention to. Also, that Russell setup that we talked about yesterday. The Russell, absolutely perfect to the downside. We talked about the Russell losing its strength, the Russell leading the downside, and damn did it get crushed yesterday. So really nice there on the Russell as well. If you guys caught that move, congratulations. All right. 1 hour chart, ES, here we go. Yesterday melted through major demand levels. I mean, just straight through. We had little to no support step up at our two demand levels here, 39.50, 39.25. The reason for this it was driven by a more fundamental type move, right? This was not a technical rejection. It was a technical rejection here, but this move is not a typical supply rejection move, right? It didn't hold up at any previous demands. The reason for this is because there was a move, there was something driving this downside, which was the financial stocks. And the ES takes the brunt of the hit, all right? The ES is a large part financials, and that is what caused the ES to underperform the NASDAQ yesterday. This move is sort of market breaking, right? You just flushed right through everything, right through the 100, right through the 200, right through it like it wasn't even there. This is a move that is driven by something. In this case, it was the financial move. So big move yesterday, right through those levels. Next, right, what are we watching today? Today, we're looking for retests. All right, we're looking for retests. Here we go. So the first retest that we're looking for today is a retest of 39.25. 39.25 right here. You guys can see right there, 39.25. And if we come back in and reject that level, that's what I would be watching, right? If we come back in and reject 39.25, that is your first potential retest rejection to keep an eye out for today, all right? So keep an eye on that 39.25. Second, if we get over 39.25, the next move that I would look for is a retest rejection of 39.50. If we get a little retracement to 39.50, up back into the 200 SMA, that would be the next level that I would look to see if it rejects. This is a previous low, and this is a 200 and 100 SMA. So if we trade back into that, right, I would expect to see some weakness start to step in. For all you fib guys out there that trade off fibs, that is just about the 50% retracement as well, which is a pretty common place to see the market start to find some weakness, right? So if we bounce off 3,900 here, we do a little 50% retracement, back into 39.50, back into the 200 SMA, that could be a very nice little setup for a little dead cat bounce and a fade back to the downside. So that is definitely a major level to watch today to see if we bounce into that 39.50. If we do, look to see if that starts to reject. If we can't even get above 39.25, this market could turn over once again. All right? The ES is not at 39.50. I know some of you guys out there are seeing that. It's because the contracts rolled. You're probably on TradingView. Please make sure to pay attention to the contract that you're looking at. I am looking at the March ES contract. So if you're looking at the June contracts, yes, it does say it's at 39.50. That is not what we're looking at here. So make sure you're aware of that. There's going to be a contract change on TradingView. It's going to be rolled over. It's the same thing though, right? The levels are going to be the same. So just pay attention to the level. Maybe you watched the SPY today if TradingView rolled your contract. We'll look at the SPY. So 39.50, 200 SMA, 50% fib retracement. That's an interesting level to watch today. That's what I'm going to be primarily looking for. If we can't even get above 39.25, this could roll over once again. So 39.25, 39.50. If you get over 39.50, you're looking at 39.80 previous lows right here, right? 39.50 previous lows right there would be your next watch if you get over 39.50, 200 SMA. So those are the three levels that I would watch to the upside, right? 39.80, 39.50, 39.25. The downside right now, we're holding 3,900. 3,900, it's a pretty big level down here. So don't disrespect this level. All right, don't just forget that this level could hold as a demand. 3,900 here, which is a previous low. It's a previous low. It's a previous major channel high. So this 3,900 for now is putting in some type of a demand. Let's see what happens there. So that for now is your demand, 3,900. So watch out for that. If we get a little dead cat bounce this morning, which is what I want to see, I want to see this market bounce. I don't want to try to chase this downside. I'd like to get some type of a retracement here. So hopefully 39.25, hopefully 39.50 is sort of what I'm looking for a little bit of a bounce, dead cat bounce, and then can we fade that move back to the downside? So that's what I'm watching on the ES. Now, something to pay attention to today. Make sure you have your financials set up, right? Make sure you look at XLF today. Make sure you're watching the financial stocks. If the financial stocks start to tank again, the ES is going to get hit. It's going to get hit again. This move was all financials yesterday. If the financials start to drop again today, that is going to cause more weakness on the ES. So pay attention to the XLF today. All right. NASDAQ. Now, the NASDAQ will not be influenced as much by the XLF. That is because the NASDAQ does not have banks in it. So that is why you saw a little bit of an outperformance on the NASDAQ. You know what? I'm going to go to SPY real quick. So let's go to SPY. I did not update my SPY levels, so we're going to do it. I'm thinking about that O'Reilly. Is that O'Reilly? Yeah, I think O'Reilly. Let's do it live. F it. We'll do it live. So let's look at the SPY here. So demand is down here, which is pretty much where we're holding right now. This 388 area for now is your 4-hour demand. Right? You can see that here, previous highs, previous lows, previous lows. Now that's where you're sitting. Let's go to the hourly chart and let's look at those retracement levels on the SPY. So on the SPY, 394, right? 394 is your 200 SMA and 100 SMA. This would be the perfect little retracement, rejection, and fade, right? That would be awesome. So 394 would be the level I'm watching today, up to the upside here. You could also keep an eye on these previous lows, which is around 392. So 392 is actually where we're rejecting right now. 392, 394 would be the two levels I'd sort of eye here. Right up in there. You could maybe have you could sort of, your 200 SMA is at like 393.25. So you could watch this whole $1 range on the SPY. Anywhere from 394 to 393 is that range from the previous lows to the 200 SMA. So I would watch this 393 to 394 as your as a supply, right, to see if that retraces back to that level, or as of right now, starting to look like we're just rejecting this 392 previous low, right? So watch this 392 previous low as well. That is where we're currently rejecting, and that is the previous low from Thursday of last week right here. You can see that is exactly where we're starting to see some rejection set in. So on the SPY, 392, and then this 393, 394 zone up here, possible rejection points to watch out for. Big 4-hour demand down at 380, 388. Watch out for that 388 demand down below. If we break that 388 demand, right, if we start breaking down that demand here, you really do not have much here to the downside. I mean, you maybe have like 385s, but I mean, this is pretty much just a channel in my opinion. So how does the market react in this channel down here? Not really quite sure, right? Because if we go to the ES and we look at this channel on the ES, all right, if we start breaking below into this channel down here, this is 3,900. If we start breaking into this chop fest from back in December, or January, I'm sorry, you guys can see it's not as clear as it, it's not very clear how the market reacts here. I'd assume that it moves very quickly to the downside. All right, if we start trading back in this channel here, I'd assume it goes pretty quickly to the downside. That is 3,900 to 3,800. That's a 100-point range that we were trading in back here in December, January. So under 3,900 could get a little interesting. Watch out for that. Dow Jones, big break yesterday on the Dow. It looks like it's trying to hold this little demand zone right here around 32,000. That's the first level I'd watch here today. If it breaks 32, it could continue. It looks like it's trying to hold this little double bottom at 32,000. Really what you want to see today is a retracement back to the lows on the Dow. That would be perfect. So I would look for the Dow to retrace back to around this 32.6, 32.6, 32.650 would be the zone that I would look for the Dow to retrace back into. Right here, right, the previous lows. If I can get that set up there, right? If I can see the Dow either retrace to the previous lows and maybe reject that as a retest rejection, or I would look for, we'll go NQ. I would look for the 200 SMA, right? 200 SMA, 32,400, or 32,600, right? Those are your retracement levels today. Again, right? Again, be careful of shorting into this 32,000 demand. It's the same idea of shorting into the 3,900 demand. All right, let's go NASDAQ. So, NASDAQ. You're in a demand, right? You have to be careful here. We can't just get put happy at this level. And if the banks are what's leading this downside move, that doesn't mean the NASDAQ has to, tank with it. Now, if the chip stocks start to lose it, that could be your downside trigger. But right now, the Dow is still holding this 200 SMA, this 50 SMA, right around this 11,950, 12,000. So be careful shorting in this 50-point range between 12,000 and 11,950. This is a pretty big range here that is held in the past. This is also the 200 SMA. So if you want to go short on tech today, I would not mind just waiting for a break and retest of the 200 SMA, right? If we can get a break like this, and if we start to see the 200 SMA turn into a rejection, that would be my downside trigger, all right? I would be cautious shorting tech before a 200 SMA break on the NASDAQ. So just pay attention to that. Ideally, what I want to see is a little dead cat bounce into 12,140 and then a fade off that. For you fib boys out there, that's about a 50% retracement as well. All right. So that would be the ideal move for the ES and the NASDAQ. Little 50% fib retracement back to the previous lows, back to this previous supply. Look to see if this starts to reject here. Take a short off this, and then you got yourself some sexy risk to reward here, right? So we'll see if that happens. But that would be the ideal move that I would like to take on the market today on the NASDAQ. Be careful of shorting into the 11,930, 11,950, 200 SMA. You guys, if you're on TradingView, your futures contracts will look different. Pay attention to the contract. You're on the June contracts. That is why it looks different. TradingView rolled the contracts last night. So once again, ES 39.25, 39.50, 200 SMA retest. That's what I'm looking for. Watch the 3,900 demand. NASDAQ 12,000 to 11,950. Watch that 200 SMA demand. Looking for a retracement of 12,140. On the Dow, looking for a retracement of that 200 SMA or up to this 32.6. And finally, on the Russell, an absolutely hot downside move yesterday. I mean, awesome. So yesterday in the Russell, right, this is what it looked like yesterday. So I posted this in the chat. We talked about this on the live stream as well. But right here on the Russell, zoom on in there. You guys can see Russell. Wanted to point out the Russell today. Yesterday, we broke below the channel low and turned it into a clear rejection. If we start seeing the market weaken, small caps may lead the move. Watching to see if the Russell remains weak here. Could look for some IWM plays, right? And if we go to, pull that up. If we go to the chart and we compare what it looked like yesterday to today, you'll see exactly how this played out. So this was, right, this red line here. You guys can see this is right here. This is right here. These are the comparisons, right? This rejection around 1884 yesterday, right here, right? Whoops. Didn't want to do that. This rejection around 1884. I'm all messed up now. There we go. Rejection here, 1884, right? Rejection here, 1884. The reason we were looking for that rejection is because it was a previous low, right? Previous low flipped into a rejection point. And look at the... Man. Congratulations if you caught this. This is a sexy trade. I mean, perfect retest rejection, 1884. We nailed that thing yesterday. Spot on. So congratulations on that, guys, if you caught that one. Sick move. Now, on the Russell, you are trading below the 200. You're trading below this previous demand. So now you're looking for this to turn into a rejection. 1830 area, right? Previous low, previous low, previous high, previous low, 200 SMA. You're looking to see if 1830 turns into a rejection now. All right, on the Russell. So hopefully those futures levels help you out. If you want to get the futures levels in a text format, you can check it out down below. It says get technicals, or you can come to the live trading group. Either way, we post these levels every day if you guys want to check them out there. All right. What's SIVB doing? 33. Holy crap. Wow. Wow. I'm in this one. It's not moving down as much, but it's still pretty nice. SBNY is what I'm in. Sort of wish I was in SIVB, though. God damn. That is bad. That stock was $270 2 days ago. 270 to 33. And didn't Kramer say to buy this stock? I think Kramer said to buy this stock. I think he did. Jim Cramer, it says, it urged investors to buy Silicon Valley Bank stock, says it's still cheap and has room to run. Ouch. Well, what's the SGIM? No, it's the SGIM. Is that up? It's not even trading. Hopefully the SGIM was like short. The SGIM should be short SIVB. Inverse Kramer ETF. If you guys knew it, SGIM is an inverse Kramer ETF. All right, so let's continue a little bit before we get into let's go over the banks before we get into the economic data. So 4-hour chart XLF, guys. This is a legit move here. You guys can see XLF 4-hour chart. 33 is a huge level here today. We went from 36 to 33. We fell 4% yesterday, pretty much straight down. Not a single green hourly candle. So if you see this is yesterday's hourly. Not a single green hourly candle yesterday. If we go out to the 4-hour chart, I'm thinking that if you lose 33 today, things could get a little bit ugly. I don't know if it has the possibility to drop even further. Anything's possible. But, yeah, this is a big 33 level. Watch out for this. It could support the XLF today. You're sitting right at it this morning. If the XLF drops 33, I would look for maybe some downside continuation on the banks. So, huge 33 level here on XLF. If we go to the daily chart, you'll see that here. Right there, right? 33. You're sitting at it today. Not much support below that. Not much support below XLF. So watch out for that XLF downside. If you get that XLF downside, I think Goldman Sachs is one to target. Goldman Sachs, watch out for this 340 area, right? 340, major previous demand right here, right? And you can see we're sitting right at it again. So if Goldman Sachs loses 340, if it drops under the 200 SMA, which is 337, look to the left, right? Look to the left. Really nothing here, guys. So that's, of course, if the XLF drops 33. If you see banks start to catch that downside again, Goldman Sachs under 340 could be an interesting watch. Goldman Sachs is also the company that did the equity raise for SIVB or something along those lines. I don't know if they're the underwriting for the deal, but they are. I don't know. Maybe they catch a little bit of backlash in that sense. So watch 340, right? Keep an eye on that downside under 340 if it does break, but that is going to require the XLF to really lose 33, right? So if the XLF holds 33 today, Goldman Sachs will not drop that 340, right? So make sure you watch that. JP Morgan was the one that got hit the most yesterday. That got really crushed yesterday back to this 128 level. You guys can see this was a little previous double bottom at 128. If you lose 128, really not much until this low here around 123, right in this 123, 124 level. So if you lose the 128 today, if the XLF breaks 33, I don't think this area will act as much support on JP Morgan. So watch out for under 128 today, maybe 128.50. If you lose that, you got some downside here until like 124. Again, have to see what the XLF does. That is very important. If you're going to trade banks today, you better watch the XLF, right? If that starts to hold this demand at 33, you're not going to want to be short banks. It could possibly do a little bit of a retracement. So pay attention to that. All right. This is wild. This is really wild. This is pretty serious. I mean, this is a pretty legit bank. It's a pretty big bank in California, I think. So it's not good. They got downgrades this morning. I mean, I would assume so. You know what the funny thing is? Look at this shit. Let me see if I can find it. Goldman Sachs put a buy rating on SIVB on the 3rd of March. Let me pull that up. We have 30 seconds. All right, we'll get to the data now. All right, let's get to the data. ES. So we're watching these levels here on the ES. Let's see what happens. You guys could press the like button while we wait. That would be awesome. Get us to 1,000 likes today. Ouch. Ouch. Oh, big up, big down. Milan, you're on the June contracts for the ES. You got to make sure. I'm on the March contracts. TradingView rolled their contracts out today. That's why it's going to be different. All right, so a little bit of upside. Waiting for the numbers here on my side. Non-farm, 311 versus 205. So big increase in non-farm payrolls. Unemployment rate higher. So a little bit of a mixed bag there. Because the technically non-farm payrolls increasing is bearish. Well, it's actually down versus prior, so I guess it depends on what you it depends on how you look at it. And this is why you don't try to interpret the data, you just watch the move. But the prior was 504,000. This time it's 311,000. So it's down 200,000 versus prior. 205 is the estimate, right? Remember that. That's why you're moving higher, I think. 504 was the prior. It is 311, so it is down. Non-farm payrolls are down 200,000 versus prior. It is up versus the estimate. But that could be why you're moving higher, right? And then you also have the unemployment rate, which is higher, which is technically bullish as well for the market. All right, so you got a little bit of a short-term pop there. I don't know if you're serious about that. Yusuf, market is up, buy it. I mean, I hope you don't trade that way, but if you do, please reconsider just buying things that go straight up. So we got a little pop. We're through the 39.25. This means nothing until we watch the levels, right? You don't change. You do not get emotional. You do not change your mindset based off an economic move, right? This is the same thing that happened yesterday. Look what happened yesterday. We moved higher off economic data and got body slammed at supply. I mean, body slammed. So, yes, we are moving higher here, but we do not lose our mind on the supply levels, right? 39.25, 39.50. This could be exactly what the bears are looking for. to the downside, right? This could be the perfect storm for a dead cat bounce in the 39.50 and a rejection. You can't say it's not possible, because if you look at yesterday, that is exactly what we did. We moved higher off economic data, right? And then we got body slammed at supply. So pay attention to your levels. 39.25, 39.50. This does not change anything. All right? You're still within these levels. You still pay attention to them. Same exact stuff. NASDAQ, right? You guys can see a little bit of upside. 12,150, 12,140. That would be the perfect rejection up there. That's what I would look for. Stop working. We need unemployment. Exactly, Jeff. Everyone stop working. No one work. And the market will go up. Contradictory, but it works. If everyone in the world stopped working, the market would be at all-time highs, I guess, right? All right, let's continue. So, what'd the XLF do on that? Really nothing. Yeah, not much there. All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes here. Hope everyone's enjoying the stream so far. If you do, press the like button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Let's jump into Apple. So Apple trading back into a pretty major supply here, and I'm going to keep an eye on this. I'm going to see if this wants to reject. So if I go out to the hourly chart, let's go to the 90-day 1 hour. You guys can see that Apple slipped under this previous demand here around 151, 150. So you can see, right? Support, 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 support. So if we have a little quadruple bottom here at 150, 151, right? And Apple's trading back below it, I want to see, does it turn into a rejection point? So now I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, actually, you know what? This needs to be moved higher because this is that previous day low. It's right in there. Hold on. Let me adjust this. Low value, 151. There we go. All right, so now I want to watch, does Apple push back into this low here? Does it push back into this low here? Does it push into this little rejection point intraday yesterday? And does it start to find a rejection, right? So that's something I'll definitely be watching today, this 151 area, to see if that previous hourly channel low, which is right here, right? This previously hourly channel low, 4-hour channel low, turns into a rejection point. That is the first thing that I'm going to be watching today on Apple. I think that's an interesting setup there. So you can see right now, look at what's, wow. Yeah, look at this. I mean, look at what's starting to form right now. So we'll see. Does it break over this, or does it reject right here at these previous lows? 5-minute chart once again. You guys can see it is rejecting pretty much perfectly the previous lows here from Wednesday, the pre-market low from Wednesday into Thursday. That is exactly where we're trading back into. So today I'll be watching, does Apple find a little bit of a fade off this level, or are we able to regain it? If the market's strong and we regain this level, then maybe there's an upside play, right? I played upside off this level yesterday on Apple, so I'm going to be watching to see if it flips. So keep an eye on this zone here on Apple, 151, 151.70 area. Looking to see what happens in that zone on Apple. SIVB's halted? No, you can't be halted in the pre-market, I don't think. Oh, God. Did they halt it for... Oh, boy. If they halted that for, oh, God. I hope for my friend that they did not halt that, and everyone else out there, that they did not halt. They did not do a T12 halt. Hold on. Oh, boy. Halted for news pending. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's a little concerning. It's maybe good, maybe not. Because if it's a T12 halt, it doesn't have to open today. It could be closed for weeks. If you guys remember Longfin, LFIN, it halted for like a month. Is that a T1 or a T12? I don't know. Yeah, careful there. I don't know what happens. So, anyways, let's continue. That's we got some crazy stuff going on out there today, huh? All right, Tesla. Ooh, that's good right there. I like that. All right, so yeah, I'm looking for this today on Tesla. So we had a previous low, 5-minute chart, right? Look at this. I like this setup right now. Let's see if this works out. Previous low, you guys can see right here. Previous low here, previous low here. Also, the 100 SMA. You can see Tesla just popped into that 176 this morning. If we start to reject that 176, right, this could be a nice little rejection point on Tesla for more downside. So keeping an eye on that, 176 on Tesla. Looking to see if this 100 SMA and this previous pre-market low yesterday and this little support yesterday as well turns into a rejection point right there at 176. If it gets over 176, I am looking for the retest rejection of 180, right? 180. You can see if we come back over 176, I'm looking for this rejection up at 180. That could be even juicier. So you have previous 180 here, right? Previous lows here at 180. I'm looking to see if it comes into that level as well. So 176, 180, two levels that I'm looking for rejections. Look at how perfect yesterday's break and retest of 180 was on Tesla. It could not have been cleaner. So I'm going to put this line at 180. You'll see it. Right there. You guys can see. Look at this little 5-minute break and retest on Tesla around 12:30 yesterday. Break, retest, 5-minute wick rejection. Look at that wick rejection right there at 180. Right here. That wick right there is all you need. Boom. Take your shorts off the 180 retest and then look at this slide end of day. Sick trade there. I know some of you guys out there caught that one. Got some messages about that one. So congratulations on the break and retest of 180 yesterday. Previous day low, break and retest. Absolutely gorgeous. Now we're looking for either a 176 supply rejection or a 180 rejection. That's what I'm looking for on Tesla. Ultimate price target, or at least the area that I'm looking for Tesla to slide into, is this 165. This is the 50 SMA. I think this is likely where Tesla can move to if the market stays weak. Previous lows here, and this 50 SMA here at 165 is where I'd be watching. Yeah, I'm still holding my Tesla shares. I'm in at 105, 108, 108. I like added at 105, 108, 110. So I'm still in. I'm up 7,500. I'm not that really concerned about long term, but yeah, it's a little ugly now. All right, those are the retest rejections I'm watching there. TSM bear flag. This looks like an A+ setup in my opinion. This is definitely something I'm watching today, guys. This is really, really clean. I mean, this is a bear flag. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, then you took a good trade, in my opinion. But previous lows into a multiple rejections, right? A clear flip, right? A clear flip. This is a flip on the market, right? You had support. Now you have rejections. Support, rejections. This is a flip, right? So that is very clear, right? And you can see TSM has been doing this little bear flag action to the upside into this supply. And yeah, that's definitely something that I am watching today. If the chips, this is going to work if the semiconductors start to, sort of crack. If the semis start to crack, TSM should absolutely trade back to 83. Right? This is where TSM should trade back to. It never retested the breakout point. And you guys know that stocks will retest their breakout points. You've seen it all of the time. This never retested, right? We're still waiting for the retest. And this could be the retest move. So definitely watching this one today. If the semis crack today, maybe next week, I will be eyeing TSM on this bear flag for a move back into this 83. I think this is a really interesting setup. Yeah. This is a type of setup that I am willing to take a loss on if I'm wrong, right? It's too clean of a setup not to potentially take. If I take a loss, I move on. Who gives a you-know-what? So, yeah. I like this a lot. Bear flag off 91. Back into the previous demand. Into supply. Right? I like it. So, definitely watching that one. AMD. So AMD still holding up, right? It's not giving up yet. This AMD, this NVIDIA, this semiconductor strength is not giving up yet. So be aware of that, right? It's not quite there yet. We have to make sure we wait for it to really slip here. You guys can see here on AMD, this is the hourly chart. It is holding 83 again. So 83 all right here, right? 83, 83, 83, 83, 83. You can see rejection of 83. And look, I mean, we're right back at it. We're holding it once again. So semis are just sort of, they're holding up. And that's why I said, if semis start to lose here, it could start to sort of have some effect on the market. But as of right now, this is still pretty strong. So watch that 83. I don't really have any interest in going long AMD into these levels. It's very clear that that's not a good level to play long into. Right? You can see the rejection that came in yesterday. So I'm not really interested in longs into supply here, 85, 86. I'm more interested to see, does AMD slip 83? And if it does this start a little bit of a downside move on the chips? So watching 83 today on AMD, that's going to be a key level. Not going to short it until I see that lose. But I will also watch to see what happens up at supply today. Because I've taken some nice supply rejection trades on AMD. It does like to respect these levels. So definitely going to watch AMD back into like this 85, 70, 86 today as well to see what happens up here. Right? So watching that. So yeah. AMD 83, 86. Watch this little channel today. Let's see what happens with the semiconductors. NVIDIA 232. Same exact concept, right? NVIDIA is not giving up 232. You guys can see right here, you have 232, 232, 232, once again here, and now today, holding it again, 232. So we can't short NVIDIA into 232. Makes no sense, right? We have to wait to see if that breaks. Or we can look for the rejection of this previous triple top. You guys can see right here, triple top back in the first or the end of February 23rd, February 27th, and this is February 28th. We could look to see what happens at 238 today. You are getting some strength to the upside off that 232. So let's see what happens at 238 today. All right, if we move back into that 238, let's see if there's a rejection there. This is also a previous low right here. You can see 238 and a rejection yesterday at 238. Let's see what happens at 238 today on an upside move. So today, that's what I'll be watching between 238 and 232, right? Going to see what happens inside this range. We'll be looking to see if we do break that 232 at any point. Again, chips are pretty strong, so be careful on the short side, right? Anyone that's tried to short this has gotten a little piece maybe if your timing is right, but overall, this thing is continuing to hold up. Don't fight that. Don't fight that. I think the real way NVIDIA gives up is probably under 230. But yeah, it's pushing right now. It's pushing. Is the NASDAQ going? Yeah, NASDAQ sort of hold. Oh, wow. Look at that NASDAQ hold of 12,000. Yeah. So NASDAQ hold of 12,000. Very solid there. Yeah, look at what's forming right now. This is very key. This is actually a very key takeaway. This is a little formation holding above 39.25. This is actually extremely key. This is something I need to point out to you. So I'm going to turn this green because look at what the ES is doing right now. This is really important. This is a previous low here back on Thursday. You guys can see right here, previous low back on Thursday. This is our 39.25 level. And look at sort of what's setting up here at 39.25, right? Little break and hold above this level. So, yeah, that's important. If the ES holds 39.25, you can't short into that yet. You have to see a break back under 39.25 now for that short. Or you look for that 39.50 supply, right? So yeah, interesting, right? That's our exact level. Look at sort of how it formed off that. That is also the previous low that we talked about. So that's a very key level, guys. Pay attention to that 39.25 today. Pay attention to that 39.25 today. You can see how it's forming right now. All right, let's continue. What was our next one? Our next one was in Amazon Google. So I was looking at Amazon to reject 93, but we are back above it now. So a little bit of a interesting move here. I was sort of looking for Amazon to turn this 93 back into a rejection point, previous low, but we are trading back above it. I have no interest in Amazon if it's above 93. I hate this little area. I have no interest in trading in here. So I'm going to skip this one. I don't like Amazon anymore. I wanted to see maybe a 93 supply rejection. You can still look for that if the market does flip today, but you're back above it. I'm going to skip this one. I don't like it anymore. Google. Yeah, Google is definitely something I'm watching here. Back into these previous lows. So watch this one, guys. I like this setup too. You can see right here. All these previous demand lows here at 94. All these previous demand lows here at 94, right? Multiple support levels there at 94. And you are trading right back into it today. So this is what I look for, right? I look for the break and retest. We broke 94. If we retest it, does it start to turn into a rejection? And if it does, can I fade that move? So definitely going to be watching Google at 94 today. That's an interesting setup in my opinion. Back into these lows, back into these lows, back towards that 5100 SMA. Does it reject? Something I'll be watching today as well. All right. Tesla 180, right? You can see that. Tesla 180, watching that one. NVIDIA 238. Apple 150, 160s. Google 94. AMD 86, right? Previous highs here. Keeping an eye on that. NQ. This is where you watch NQ, right? This is where you watch NQ. Previous lows. You got your little push back into that. Watch out for that. Here's a word of, what's the word I'm looking for? A little rule of thumb that I always play by in the market. If you are not trading above the previous lows, right? These previous lows, you cannot get overly bullish, right? Please be careful here, guys. If we are not trading above these lows here, please be careful of these rejections. You can see how this set up yesterday. It's very similar. Look how similar this could set up. So please be cautious, guys, of this 12,140 on the long side. This is the exact type of move that you saw yesterday morning. Boom and boom. Boom and boom. So please just be aware of that. ES as well. If you are not trading above the 200 SMA, please do not get overly bearish today. Or I'm sorry, overly bullish. Please be careful here. You do not want to be holding longs into the 200 SMA and see this thing reject off the 200. Please be cautious. Please pay attention to the levels. Play off the levels, right? And I would say the same thing to you on the flip side. So this is not a biased statement, right? This is just simply a risk-reward statement. I would say the same thing to you if we were dropping down into 3,900 today. If we were here at 3,900, I would say, please be cautious shorting this market into this 3,900 demand, right? We have to be paying attention to these levels. So 3,900 demand, I would not short into that. I would not go long into the 200 SMA. I would try to play, off these levels. So keep an eye on that. As of right now, I would say the only thing that's potentially slightly bullish this morning is this little hold at 39.25. If you hold this 39.25, you'll probably try that 39.50, right? If you lose 39.25, things could unravel pretty quickly back to 39. So 39.50, 39.25, 3900, very, very key levels today on the ES. I would make sure to watch those. With that said, I'm going to head out of here, guys. It's getting late. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you did, press the like button, subscribe to the channel. Please watch those levels today. Going to be very, very key. Keep in mind the possibility of the market not doing much today. There is a lot of movement on the put options yesterday. They might chop this market a little bit, right? Keep that in mind, right? Today, after a huge move yesterday, it might not do much, so be cautious of that. The other thing I would say, make sure you're watching the financials today. The XLF will probably drive this market today the same way it drove the market yesterday. So if the XLF is in control a little bit today, I would want to be watching that. So keep an eye on that XLF today, all right? Thanks again, guys, for being here. Can we get to 1,000 likes? Can we get to 1,000 likes before I head out? What do you think? Come on. Let's do it. Got 1,700. We should be able to do it. Just 200 more of you out there. 200. Vicente, you got it, Angel. You got it. Hope everyone has a good weekend. 850. 934. Oh, can we break the 1,000? Can we break the 1,000 rejection point? Can we do it? Little Friday 1,000. Oh, Netflix. Yeah, actually, you know what? Let's go to Netflix. Just for hitting 1,000, I'll go over Netflix real quick. Because Netflix is an interesting setup here. Netflix. So I would watch Netflix to come back into 300 to 305. It's a little bit of a zone, so it's not perfect. But yeah, I would be watching Netflix here today. You guys can see Netflix got a total tank job on Netflix yesterday. Total tank job. If Netflix comes back up into this 300 to 305 previous demand and turns it into a rejection here, this could be a nice little fade again too. Big time flush on Netflix yesterday. Right through, sliced right through this previous level, around 300, 305. So yeah, I would say if the NASDAQ rejects today, if we see weakness on tech, that's a big key. We need weakness on tech to short Netflix. If you see that, I think the ultimate target here is probably back to these lows around 280 on Netflix. But you're going to have to see 300 to 305 start to show some rejections here, right? You're going to want to see this little 300 to 305 zone start to reject on the market. It's going to be a little bit difficult, right? You're going to have to wait out a little bit of a dead cat bounce, I think. So let's see. Let's see what happens in this zone here today. 3 to 305 is what I'd watch. All right, guys. Thank you guys again. 1,000 likes. You guys are the best. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you guys on the other side. I'll see you guys Monday. Peace out.
Bye.